Guys, whether you wanted it or not, the future of Destiny's PvP, for better or for worse, is Checkmate. The writing's on the wall, and I think some of you are still in denial. I still got people out there thinking that this is not going to become the norm for PvP. That all of these changes, which Bungie constantly keeps making week after week, with continuous updates to Checkmate, are simply because Bungie wants to entertain a rotating game mode every now and then? No, they're doing this because this is their answer. That answer being how to deal with special weapons. Now, this is not the first time Bungie is trying to address this issue. Hell, Destiny 2 Vanilla had us using primary weapons only, with special weapons being in the same slot as our heavy weapons, and you simply had to pick up ammo in order to utilize it. This left everything feeling extremely slow, and there was a combination of things here that made the game feel slow. Ability uptime was also really slow. Time to kill values on our primary weapons also slow. Static rolls on our primary weapons made everything feel extremely bland. Now, I'm not saying that the double primary system was the way to go, but had the game came out with random rolls, a TTK value that was matching that of Destiny 1, and decent movement equivalent to what we had back in Destiny 1, I don't think people would have crapped all over D2 Vanilla, or at least the double primary system. But this is a problem Bungie has been wrestling with for years now. You want to know why airborne effectiveness was put in the game? It was to address special weapons. Bungie really wanted to target special weapons, which is why AE came out so rough and so punishing. They wanted players to stop jump sniping. They wanted folks to stay on the ground and not run around with a shotgun bouncing all over the place. But sandbox change after sandbox change, from tier supers to removing scavenger perks inside of PvP to outright giving you only one shot of special when you pick up a green brick, this has now led us to Bungie's final straw, that being Checkmate. Guys, Bungie wants primary play to be the focus play, but Checkmate is a little different. You see, you are rewarded with special ammo for getting kills and engaging. Matter of fact, you're rewarded for pretty much everything you do here, as long as you're engaging and getting kills. Everything from special ammo to abilities to your supers. Checkmate has an entirely different system that relies not on passive ability buffs, not on you just dying and getting your special ammo back to then just charge into the fray and get a kill with, but instead to play methodically from start to finish and to give us a true snowballing effect. But I can't express how good this actually is though. And this is something Bungie has shot themselves in both feet multiple times. We have lived in entire metas where passive play was the way. Destiny 1, we had artifacts. One of them was called Scory, where when you got your super, your teammates can literally leech super energy off of you. Now, a wonderful artifact inside of PvE. The problem is Bungie didn't think about it inside of PvP, which led every single Trials team out there to literally passively go for their supers and then sit in the back of the map feeding each other supers, which resulted in Trials games being so long. I mean, taking forever. Like, people complain about Trials now, but no lie, that was the worst time in Destiny Trials, in my opinion. Outside, of course, when Trials of Osiris came back to Destiny 2 and we had all the cheaters out there. Yeah, that was pretty bad too. But the point is, Bungie has been wrestling with this problem for a long time, and Checkmate is their answer. Now, I'm making this video because I need to prepare you. It's going to happen. This is going to be the future for Destiny's PvP, and not just for competitive. Some people are thinking that this is just going to be something that's going to roll over into competitive. No, expect to see this everywhere. Probably no later than Final Shape. I'm talking Trials of Osiris, 6v6, Iron Banner. All these playlists are going to have you playing under this same system. Now, let me just give you some of my personal opinions of Checkmate so far. First up, it's really hard to give a fair assessment of Checkmate when it's very obvious that skill-based matchmaking does not exist here. You see, everywhere else we have SBMM, and this is not me saying that SBMM is the most terrible thing in the world. I'm not a fan of it in social playlists, but I understand that this is an unwinnable battle, therefore I don't have it anymore. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is that, yes, I am enjoying Checkmate, but it is hard to give an actual proper fair assessment when I'm getting two very different matchmaking experiences. It's like Destiny 2 whenever its beta came out. We were still playing Destiny 1, where all of our special ammo was removed, folks were crutching on Scory, you also had people running around sticking you with sticky grenades and getting one-hit kills. Man, it was aggravating. So upon playing the D2 beta, I don't think any of us were crazy about it, but Destiny 1 was just in such a bad state PvP-wise that we were like, yeah, okay, fine. Bungie, if this is your answer, anything is better than D1 right now. Now, things are nowhere near that bad in Destiny 2, but it is hard for me to give a fair assessment when I am getting two very different matchmaking experiences. What I will say is there are a few things I really do like. Number one, I don't have that mindless ape on the opposite team running at me, with a shotgun over and over and over again. And the bad thing about it is that sometimes they're successful. Hell, a lot of times with the right setup, whether it was Antaeus wards, jug shield, you'd be surprised how successful you can be running in a straight line with a shotgun. Get the right loadouts and you'll get the kill, or in the least, get a trade. And see, when people find success with such a mindless tactic, they do it over and over, which limits us in so many ways. But then if you go over to something like Trials of Osiris or even something like Comp, sniper rifles are very oppressive. Now I can go on and on about how sniper rifles are stupid accurate. People land shots they have no business landing, regardless of input device. The fact that flinch has no effect on sniper rifles and everyone thinks it's a mechanic issue. It's really not. It's a networking issue. It's a tick rate issue. It's a good chance that internally at Bungie, when they're actually landing a shot on a sniper rifle, it in fact does flinch. Therefore, the sniper should miss. That's because they're playing internally at Bungie. You take that into the real world, in the environment we play in, there's a reason why when you slide out and you land that perfect headshot with that hand cannon or whatever weapon and they still dome you, it's not because flinch isn't working. It's simply because of the network infrastructure we have in place as of now for Destiny 2. Don't worry, we're getting dedicated servers in Marathon. No, not Destiny. Regardless though, this is a problem, and so it's nice loading up into a match and not immediately having the sniper rifle versus sniper rifle fights, the cloud strike that somehow lands a kill on a teammate and wipes me, or the shotgun that's being run down my throat. Fusion rifles also have the same problem. Grenade launchers are also very oppressive, so I'm not just trying to single out just one or two different specials. It's all of them. And it's simply because it's so readily available. Why wouldn't you use a weapon that can get you the one-hit kill? That's a no-brainer. But the beautiful thing about Checkmate is things start off with primary weapons, which means tactical play is the first move. The second thing I really like is ability uptime, because you can't just go out there and spam abilities and the cooldowns are long, as everything is so dependent on you getting kills, dealing damage, etc. Again, this brings tactical play to mind, and this really throws people off. It even throws me off to an extent, but it also gives value to certain exotics. Exotics that give you double of an ability. Even something as simple as like Armatarium is now more beneficial here. Or aspects like Touch of Thunder, which gives you an extra grenade for lightning grenades. I think exotics that do give you double up for abilities have more use now in a Checkmate environment. Whereas before, you can actually influence your cooldowns to the point where it really didn't matter. I think the biggest one out of this though is our supers, and that our supers are very much tied to merit, to the player itself dealing damage. And we've seen this already in base Crucible, in Trials, but not to the degree that Checkmate presents. Or at least, that's how it feels to me. Now, another thing that's very interesting about Checkmate is that it requires 3 melees to get the kill. You see, the health pools here, guys, are a bit different, and Bungie's still playing around with this, but TTKs for weapons are also different here. But the biggest change is the fact that it takes 3 melees. For my folks that run in there and just go for the melee hit and beat somebody down, you won't be able to accomplish that in 2 hits. And it's that little amount of time between the second and third melee. The person that's actually using their weapon can come out on top. Now, this also means certain abilities are gonna definitely rise in power. Any ability that boosts your melee damage, any exotic that boosts your melee damage, exotics that helps you in those melee encounters, whether it's something like ACD feedback. These are things that are gonna have more value in this environment. It's been a long time since I used Ballistic Slam, simply because every time I Ballistic Slam, unless I get the kill, I'm normally met with a shotgun. But since we don't start off with special ammo, I'm actually able to run in, get the Ballistic Slam, and follow up with the kill in whatever way I want. So in some ways, guys, this actually opens up freedom and gives more value to certain abilities and certain exotics. Now, Bungie is still tweaking the numbers here, especially when it comes to weapons and what the TTK value needs to be. They've gone from making hand cannons be a 4-shot, now back to being a 3-shot, but with less forgiveness. Other weapon archetypes are actually proven to be better in this environment simply because of the forgiveness that they bring. I have found myself gravitating to things like rapid fire pulse rifles and even adaptives. And I'm not saying that adaptives and rapid fires aren't good inside of regular Crucible, but for a while their high impacts were the reigning champs amongst pulse rifles. But here in this environment, especially a dueling environment such as this, I have found much more success with weapons that are more dual focus. Now, it does seem like Bungie is trying to bring TTK values a little more in line with what we are used to in base Crucible. And again, they're going to continue tweaking things to find that sweet spot. But so far, I've enjoyed where things are for our primary weapons, but I'm excited to see what Bungie continues to give us. Now, for special ammo, if there's one thing that could snowball very fast, it is special ammo. Despite no one starting off as special, if you're slaying out, you could suddenly look up and realize you've got 10 to 12 shots for your special weapon, which means you pretty much go on a tear. Considering you just got there pooping on everybody with a primary weapon, they have nothing to combat you with. You've got a ton of special ammo, which allows you to farm even more. To take it a step further, even if you die, you don't lose the special ammo. You can respawn with all of your special. It's not like it resets to 2. You die with 12 shots of a shotgun, you will respawn with 12 shots of that shotgun, which means for my folks that do want to play mindlessly, as long as they pop off in the beginning of a game, they can of course play for the rest of the game quite mindlessly. This does concern me a bit, almost to the point where I do wonder what it would be like if, yes, you do keep special, but if you die with a large amount of special, you can respawn with special, but only 2 shots. Similar to what we get inside of PvP now. Now, I know there's some folks out there right now rocking double primary like it's D2 vanilla without a care in the world for the special ammo. But there is a snowball effect that can get out of hand. And if Bungie doesn't limit the amount of special ammo you can accumulate, the second half of pretty much every PvP match is going to be full of nothing but special weapons. Overall though, guys, I have been enjoying Checkmate. Again, it is difficult to give you a one-to-one comparison considering we don't have skill-based matchmaking here, but my experiences, especially going against good players, has been enjoyable. Personally, I've always liked primary gunplay more in Destiny. However, I do wonder if I am in the minority. Not that long ago, after an update, people were noticing in the control playlist that they were holding more special ammo, specifically after picking up ammo bricks. And there were lots of PvP players that loved this. Now, Bungie swiftly moved to address this. But the point is, I may be alone in how I feel about Checkmates. I also may be alone in how I feel about primary gunplay in Destiny. To me, I think tactical play does revolve around your primary weapon, with special ammo and special weapons being sprinkled additions. This is where I bring it back to you guys. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about Checkmates? Again, I still believe Checkmate is going to be the future for Destiny's PvP. And with constant tweaks here and there to things like airborne effectiveness, ultimately giving you substantially better accuracy for things like primary weapons, and with Checkmate really pushing us to use primary weapons, it's no doubt that this is the direction Bungie themselves want Destiny's PvP to go. And unlike the past, we have a dedicated PvP team, which is why we're getting Checkmate updates left and right. This is something they're moving quickly on, and I do expect to see the final implementation of this being added in final shape. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.